I do not want to get up at all, bro. I'm not a morning person. I hate waking up. But you know what? Let me bring out the professional. Connie, bro. I get it. We're getting up. We're getting up. I think go grab the professional equipment and let's get some coffee in our lives so we can talk about what the fuck is going down with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And bro, Lotto's pregnant. Run that intro. Let's talk our shit. Guys, I don't think Momtok will survive this. Like, Momtok's not going to survive this. Oh my God. Welcome back to the Distract Me Please podcast. I am your host, Brianna / podcast girly. I don't know what I want to call myself. I guess we're still working on it because I wanted to go by my name, but I was like, that's so lame because the era of girlies going by their official name, like as celebrity status, is over and we're bringing back real internet people. And I'm like, I don't know. So welcome back to let's try it out. Okay, we're going to try it out because for so long I've just said my full name on here, which I don't really care to. You can know my full name. Who cares? Okay, so let's try this. Welcome back to the Distract Me Please podcast. I'm your host, podcast girly. And today, that flows right off the tongue. That's the one we're going for. That's the way. I don't want a copyright strike. Welcome back to the Distract Me Please podcast. I am your host, Podcast Girly. And today I am here by myself, as always, to discuss Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Because, guys, Momtok will not survive this. I know I just said it in the beginning, but I got to say it again, love. The drama has been crazy. I have been seeing it up and down my timeline on threads because my boyfriend called me a threadian the other day. He was like, you're such, like, I think, how did he say it? I don't know, but he was just like, yeah, you're such a threadian or something like that because I'm constantly posting on threads. If you want to don't contact me. Hold on, pause, wait, stop. The best place to interact and follow along with my life is on threads. That is where I am cutting up. That's where I'm acting up. Okay? That is where everything in this brain of mine is on threads. If you want to hear the chaos, I don't even know what to call it, but like if you want the chaos, I'm on threads. Okay? So, I've been keeping up with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Here's the thing. I love that ghetto TV show. Okay? I love that little ghetto TV show. I forgot, when did I lock in? Something happened where there was some drama with the mamas, and I think it was season 2 was already out. Because I didn't start watching it when the first season dropped, but I tuned in for season 2. Damn, I really wish I could remember the drama. Was it the cheating scandal? Oh, it was. It was with the whole Marciano thing because I was seeing it all up and down my timeline of Marciano was suing the girls. He was suing production. The girl who hosts the Vanderpump Villa show, like she came out and she was like, I've seen the footage. The girls have reason to not believe Demi. Apparently it's pronounced like oh my God, because it's short for Demetria. So her name isn't pronounced Demi. It's pronounced Dema, like short for what? No, Demetria. So it's kind of like Demi. What? Demi? It's not Demi, like Demi Lovato. It's like like for Demetria. No, you know what? I can't read. I'm the way I'm sitting here trying to. I'm like Demetria, Demi. So everyone's saying it right. Demi. Oh, kind of like dummy. You know. Dummy. Her name. So it's not Demi like Demi Lovato, but it's Demi. Oh, because short for Demetria. Got it. See, now I've clicked it. Okay, because people were saying, everyone's saying her name wrong. Like I saw that on threads and I was like, what? But I've always called her Demi because that's how the girls pronounce it on the show. So like, What? Okay, I was confusion. And I think I just said I always called her dummy. Why is Connie running laps around this house? Connie! Connie! Come here. Come here. This girl is doing back and forth anxious walks. Come here. Come join the podcast crew. Connie. Connie is my 11-year-old Bichon for say, because I'm fancy like that and I have a little Bichon. Let's sit down. Let's lie down. Okay, come cuddle. Come cuddle. Let's sit down because you're making me anxious. Your tail is tucked between your legs and you're running laps around this house. I don't know if you're confused. Finding out that dogs can get I almost said dementia. Finding out dogs can get dementia. 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 I have been losing my mind because my dog is 11 years old. She's about to turn 12. And the lifespan for Bichons, because I'm pretty sure she's a purebred. I got her as a shelter dog, but she doesn't have signs of anything else. Like, even all the vets that I've taken her to, they're like, oh, you have a Bichon. Like, she is just like, she is the perfect little match for a purebred Bichon. And so you know how they always say like purebred dogs always come with all the health issues? She's had a health issue since she was a baby, like very early on, like first, like she started getting skin tags, like literally like at 1 year old, and all the vets were like, she's way too young to be getting this. She had joint problems that I was really worried about for a second. Like she couldn't walk, like it's horrible allergies. So all her paws are black, blue, and brown. Goddamn. They're just brown all around her eye. Like my precious baby girl, breathing problems, allergy problems, joint problems, skin problems, you name it, she's had it since we've had her. And so that's the other indication. I'm not getting her DNA tested. Okay. I'm not doing that because I'm not spending $200-$300 just to find out what type of breed my dog is, because at the end of the day, we'll love her no matter what she is. Ain't that right, Connie? And there goes Luna. Luna is my new cat. She's the cat that has caused me to go viral on Threads for the first time. And now I keep my posts be doing numbers. Okay, I can't lie. I'm pretty impressed. By numbers, I mean like 200 likes. Sometimes I get like 50 likes. And like if you're a Threadian, you know that's hard to do, because Threads, your post could literally get 5,000 views and you'll get 2 likes. Like us on Threads, we do not care. We're not looking for the influencers, okay? Even though there's like some semi-thread influencers already, like they're not influencers because Threads is not monetized. You do not get paid to post on Threads unless it's a company paying you to post on Threads. But like the Threads platform itself is not paying people as creators to make content on Threads. And so that's why I enjoy it. But the one issue is everyone's trying to get their posts to do numbers. And so there is a lot of like stealing of posts. So if someone sees a post is doing numbers, they'll literally like take it and just copy and paste. And there's a lot of accounts that are literally just like copy and paste of other accounts that are doing really, really well. So that's the one downside of Threads. But other than that, I love Threads. Not me having a full ad for Threads. Threads, sponsor me. Anyway. But yeah, so I love Threads. I'm always like up there acting up, acting crazy. But yes, so let's talk about this. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I tuned in with the whole Marciano drama. Okay. So Marciano made me tune in, and that was the whole season 2. And they spent in it. So then I started from season 1. Okay. Because I love reality TV. I am a reality TV guru. I love me my competition shows, my trash reality TV shows, Jersey Shore, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I started young. Okay. Now as I'm older, you know, I love watching The Circle. I want to be on The Circle so bad, but I'm so embarrassed because one time I applied to be on The Circle and I just took headshots in the hallway of my college townhouse. And like the fits were, I didn't even dress up yet. Like my dress, it was literally a sweater with a corset over it. It did not look that good. Like I just, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Connie, please sit down. Please lie down. Come on. And let's just cuddle. And so I don't know what I was thinking. But it was so funny. And sometimes when I think about that, y'all know the other embarrassing thing that I've done. I reached out to Dear Media saying like I'm a podcaster who would like really love to work with y'all. Like I would really love for y'all to sign my podcast. And they reached back out being like, oh my God, can you like send us screenshots of like your audience and your analytics? Cause I really hooked them in being like, yeah, one of my top performing episodes has like 42,000 downloads. Like, yeah, like I'm doing numbers. But the thing was my top performing episodes, like number one has over 42,000 downloads. Number two has over 20,000 downloads. Number three, I think it's like 15,000, but like those are my top performers. On average, I was getting like 100 views an episode. And so I did not understand that, podcast networks, they want someone already well established. Like they just want to sign you to give you a steady paycheck so they can take in the highs and lows of like the podcast money that you can bring, and as a big star they could bring more money in for their business. Like it's really, I know there's like more than that. Like they can also help you get the people behind it to keep the podcast going, to make sure that you always have ads and sponsorships on your podcast, and they really kind of do not necessarily do the outreach for that, but they just make sure that all of that is planned and you have sponsorships and everything coming in, because working with them kind of gives you a back catalog of all that stuff. But I did not understand that you need I didn't I didn't understand that you need Connie, you're scratching me and it hurts. I didn't understand that you need an audience already. The audience already has to be there. And then the other funny thing that I did was I have reached out to people to like, I will happily, put ads for your business or your product in my podcast, but I have a flat fee of $200. So like, I'm not going to work, because I don't mind the like, oh, we'll pay you per listener. So like per every 1,000 listeners, I don't mind doing that. The only thing is I kind of don't like keeping up with the reporting, because like there's going to be shows that are flops and there's going to be shows that are not. But it's like I'm going off based off of the average of what I know I can do. And so based off the average, like, I am doing a flat $200 fee for 4 episodes, right? And so I sent that pitch, but I was using a platform that didn't allow. So like, it was like companies are like, this is what we want to be advertised. How would you, please pitch to us how you plan to, integrate our product, our business with your podcast. But the thing was, podcasts can do flat fees for episodes, or they can do, per 1,000. And so per 1,000, that can range like from $5 for every 1,000 listens, or $20 for every 1,000 listens, depending on how large your audience is. So depending on how much you're like, how much business you can really bring in for them. But I was like, okay, I don't want to do that, because I've done that. And I personally didn't really, actually, no, I haven't done that. I think everything I've ever done has always been a flat fee. I've always done flat fee episodes. And so I have been paid roughly like $50 an episode for an ad. And so I was like, okay, if I'm pitching that I'm going to do 4 episodes, so I have a flat fee of $200. But the way that podcast platform was set up was that you paid every 1,000 episodes, and you didn't have a way that you can like indicate that I'm doing a $200 flat fee. So someone reached back out and they were like, hey, just to let you know, the like range for podcast ads is actually $8 to $10. You need to reconsider how much you're charging people. And I just really wanted to reach back out to let you know to just go do more research and whatnot. And I just reached back out just being like, oh my God, thank you so much. Because at that point, I was just so freaking embarrassed that someone really thought that I was charging $200 per 1,000 listeners, when I was literally only getting like 1,000 listeners, like kind of tiptoeing to 1,000 listeners an episode. Like I was not like, yes, a lot of my podcast episodes were doing above 1,000, but like I typically was flatlining at 1,000 after 30 days. And so I was like, I'm not charging $200 for like so that would have been $800 for 4 no, baby, I was not charged. I was charging $200 for 4 episodes. But yeah. So anyways, if any company was sitting here listening to this, trying to think how much could we pay this girl, there you go. There's your fee. And so that was so funny. Anyways, so that's just some of the most embarrassing things that I've done. Back to Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. As we can tell, we go on tangents here on this podcast episode. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes I just don't lock in, but let's go ahead. Let's lock in for this episode because I do not want this podcast to be long. I hate recording long podcast episodes because I hate the editing portion. And I'm sorry, I talk about nonsense. And so I don't feel like the episodes need to be that long. But lo and behold and lo, they always end up long. Back to what I was saying. Lo and behold and lo, this podcast episode is long. By the way, this is editing Brianna coming in for all the newcomers. Back to previous Brianna who recorded this episode. Taylor should not have, her season of The Bachelorette should not have been canceled. First of all, let's start with the first issue. She should have never been picked for The Bachelorette. And I really stand by that decision because when I found out that she was picked, my first thought was, oh, so is she done with her baby daddy? Like, is she really committed to being done with her baby daddy? Because I don't think she is. I really, really, really don't think she is. And so I was like, that's kind of weird that she's the Bachelorette because I forgot, when did I find out that she was I found out she was the Bachelorette a long time ago. Like, they announced it a long time ago before she started recording. Then she recorded, then the season was coming out. So it's been a while that we've known she's the Bachelorette. And I was like, that's a weird pick, especially because here's the thing. Remember, her career with Momtok and having Momtok get a TV show and everything, it started off in a scandal. It started off with her coming out and being like, we're all swingers. Like, I don't know who pissed her off, but she hopped on TikTok live and was like, we're all swingers, and just outed everyone as swingers. And then all of Momtok was like, excuse us, not all of us were swingers, but like, you know, some of us in this group were swingers. And I'm like, that's how she started. Then first season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it literally begins with Taylor getting arrested for her allegations. And it wasn't even allegations because she pleaded guilty to it. She pleaded guilty to domestic violence, to child endangerment, and the girl went to jail. Then she got out of jail. And then the whole thing was like her trying to be better and like not go to jail anymore. She doesn't want to be, you know, she doesn't want to get in trouble anymore. She's trying to turn around her life. She realizes how bad it is. So she's sober. She's going back to church. She wants Dakota to go back to church with her. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, that's how season 1 was. It was the mess. It was the drama. It was the juice. It was the sauce. Like, it was so good. And so I loved it because at the end of the day, at a certain point, we did start to put celebrities on a pedestal. And this is coming from a fangirl, okay? This is from someone who puts celebrities on a pedestal all the time. In fact, I build a new pedestal every day for another celebrity to enter the arena, if you will. Like, I'm always going to put a celebrity on a pedestal. But what I mean by that is, like, especially with all the political stuff, because of like the state of America that we're in, politics is really whooping our ass. Like, it's really beating us into the ground, especially if you're on a certain side. Okay. And so, you know, with all of the politics coming out, and like, especially in this modern day of politics, a lot of politics, don't get me wrong, politics were always kind of like trying to take people's rights away, trying to make people lesser than, trying to oppress a certain subset of people. But they kind of did not say the quiet part out loud. And at a certain point, especially like early, you know, or like 2010s, that like there was really hope that like we were moving to a more progressive mindset in politics. Things weren't so hard contrast. Like, it was easier to walk in between two party lines. And then recently everything is like so polarized. Everything is like crazy. And now like there are a lot of politics that are fully blatantly racist, misogynistic, homophobic. Like, it's so terrible. And so I understood when everyone was like, we need to know what the hell sides these celebrities are taking, because it's no longer like, oh, politics is just there. It's what's there to run our country. Now it's like these politicians are blatantly trying to oppress me, blatantly trying to take my rights away. I need to know where you stand on history. Like, what side of history are you standing on? So I understood wanting to hear celebrities speak up and speak out, because it was like, dude, we are like suffering down here speak up, right? And then come to find out, when a lot of them started speaking up, this is something that's talked about on the financial diet. You hit a certain salary level, a certain income level, and your politics swing right. And they swing right kind of drastically. For some reason, it tends to be the trend. And so if you're someone who makes a really high income and you're not sitting right, you're sitting pretty on the left, that is rare. And so with the financial diet, like CEO Chelsea, oh my God, what is it? It's not Chelsea Faye, but the CEO Chelsea, she makes, like, she's always made a point to say, like, she is going to be one of those people, and she puts in a lot of time and effort and research to be one of those people who are a high income sitting on the left side, because that's not the way it tends to go as you hit certain tax brackets. And so these celebrities come out and boom, they're not on the side of history we thought they were. There's very few that's on the side of history that we thought they were. And so even with like the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I think there's a tweet going around that Taylor's posted a while back saying like Trump for the win, or like she was so happy like Trump's the winner or whatever, really praising Trump. I think some of the other girls have kind of, I don't know, because again, like, celebrities and their politics and their ideologies, I really step back from that. I really don't want to hear what you have to say about politics, because a majority of celebrities are uneducated. That's just the thing, okay? A lot of these people are uneducated. All they do is have a pretty face and a great personality, and so like now they're on TV. And I'm specifically talking about my celebrities because I love reality TV, right? So like I'm not looking to, like, I'm sorry, I would not be shocked if a lot of the celebrities I love couldn't even spell. I mean, I can barely spell too, and I have a full bachelor's degree. But like, you know what I mean? Like they would struggle in a popcorn reading setting. Like they would be the person where you turn around and you're sitting there like, oh brother, this guy stinks, because they're sitting there going the like, and you're just like, dude, you're grown. You're in your 30s, you're grown. How can you not read a simple sentence, right? And so that's why I'm like, I don't really care. And so my point being, with watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I am watching it for the drama, the mess, the tea, the juice, the sauce, knowing a majority of these people are problematic, right? A majority of these people have morals that I would never subscribe to. Like I would never ever in a million years follow in these people's footsteps. I mean, what was it like? Taylor this season, on season 4, was saying how, like, you know, she's still sleeping with her baby daddy and she's not using any type of protection. You know, she's sitting there like, birth control, it causes a lot of like mood swings and stuff, and women have to already go, you know, women already suffer with a lot of mood swings with our periods and our hormones, and she doesn't want to add anything to change that. And I was like, that's such a weird specific answer when there's non-hormonal birth control and there's condoms, right? Like there are, like, that doesn't make sense to me, because even that girl from Love is Blind, I don't want to put no, we're going to put that girl right back on the spot, because like she was talking about it, like her husband, her fiance was like, should we consider birth control? And she was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting all these hormones in my body. I'm not doing it, because the reality is birth control is pretty dangerous for women. Like, I think it's like 1 in every 1,000 women experience like blood clot issues on birth control. 1 in every 1,000. And there's 8 billion people in the world. Well, we have to cut a lot of that out, because, like, you know, part of the population are people without uteruses, and then the other part of the population don't have open and free access to healthcare that allows them to get birth control. But my point being, there's a lot of women on birth control, and 1 in every 1,000, that number, terrifying. That's kind of really scary. I think it's 1 in 1,000. It's not 1 in every 100. Is it 1 in every 100? It might be. I don't know. But it's a number that's like high enough to be like, we should have a different option for this. There's a lot of women who hop on birth control and it doesn't sit right with their bodies. It does not work. Like the mood swings are crazy. Like everything just kind of changes. It messes them up so horribly. And so, it's like there's so many issues there. So I understand when women are like, I don't want to get on it. Like, I don't even want to try. Although I will say, with how crazy Taylor already is off of it, I understand why she's like, I don't want to hop on it and make me 10 times crazier. But like, as a person with hormonal issues that are like undiagnosed, but like are always sitting at the corner of my mind, because every time I go to the doctor, it's like they're always like trying tests because they're like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't feel right. Let's test you for this. Everything came back normal. So I don't know what to tell you. Go home. Bye. And then it's like different things for like hormonal treatments do work for me. So like, I know there's an issue there, but like, I don't know what it is. And I know it's probably a really simple answer, but like, it's America. I'm not paying $5,000 to find out. I don't have $5,000 to just dish out like that. Right. And so for me, birth control calmed me down. Birth control put me in a stable mindset. Birth control helped because, again, it helped regulate hormones. It helped stabilize hormones for me. And so I actually got on birth control and I simmered down. I'm stable. And I'm like, Taylor might benefit from that. She might want to try that out. But the other side being, again, I understand and respect her decision. It's not for everyone. And if she is already saying like, I don't even want to try, I get that. There's non-hormonal options that are not birth control. And you're not even using that. And people are literally sitting there like, are you about to get pregnant by your baby daddy again? This man who is literally being abusive to you, which brings us to the video of her throwing the chair. I am not going to sit here. I'm going to talk. Let's talk about all the takes. Okay. We're going to talk about all the takes. Oh, so I have notes here to keep me on track. But one thing about me, I'm always going to run off on a tangent. I see a tangent, baby. I zoom through it. Okay. Anyways, so back to my point, ABC should have never chosen her to be the Bachelorette, but then y'all did. So you should have stood 10 toes down in that. All the information was there to figure out what type of person Taylor is. And if they didn't do their research properly, that's on you. That's on you. Anyone who works in any influencer marketing, like I'm a marketing professional. I actually do marketing professionally. That's my full-time job. Anyone who does marketing, once you do influencer marketing, it is a risk. You do have the risk, especially nowadays with like cancel culture. What is the person's reputation? Because their reputation can start to fall onto you and your business and your company. So you need to know who you're dealing with before you sign anybody up with anything. Celebrities, influencers, whatever. So they did their research. They saw that girl pops off, and it's not like, oh, but she's been, calm recently. She hasn't been getting in any big things, blah, blah, blah. Yes, she has. Her friends didn't like her post for the CMAs, and she literally started making Instagram story posts being like, all her friends are fake. No one cares about her. F her. She doesn't have any real friends. So like we see to this day, presently, every time something goes wrong, Taylor hops online and she feels like she's going to do a tell-all truth-telling thing where she's the only person who's going to come out and tell the truth because she's not going to be fake. Taylor would do great on baddies. Oh, and I stand by that. Taylor needs to be on baddies. Pose for me. As fast as thing. No. Taylor would do great on baddies. She doesn't need to be on Secret Lives. And so she's never stopped doing that. She's never stopped hopping online and posting whatever the hell she wanted to about people who pissed her off. Like she literally goes on a smear campaign every time someone doesn't do something that she likes or that she feels like makes her look bad or she feels like makes you a fake friend to her. And it's over simple things. It's not over things that are like, oh my God, yeah, that does suck. No, it'll literally be, they didn't like my post for the CMAs. And y'all made her the Bachelorette. So why are you saving face now? I would still watch it because, again, I don't look at these celebrities anymore and I'm like, I got to put them on a pedestal, a perfect pedestal where they need to be perfect and blah, 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 blah. Because the reality is people are not perfect. There are better celebrities that I'm like, you know what? You're probably a good, decent human being from everything that I've seen. I'm going to really support you hardcore and you're some of my favorite people. I'm sorry, y'all are gonna hate this answer. Ariana Grande. That was me dying after I've been murdered for saying that answer. But I'm sorry, like, I'm, I'm sorry. She ain't Nicki Minaj. Anyways, moving on. So, I don't care. Put Taylor on TV. Put The Bachelorette on TV. I understand why people are like, don't put that girl on TV. But for the majority of us who were going to watch the season, were kind of interested in the season, we already knew what we were signing up. We already knew from the second that she was announced, we already knew what mess was going to happen, which is why I wanted to watch it. I wanted to see Taylor get into a Royal Rumble with all of the guys. I'm sorry. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. Okay, moving on. Oh my God, did I talk about Lotto yet? Lotto's pregnant. She came out pregnant, announced her pregnancy with her new album drop and all this stuff. And honestly, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. Next. Like, we don't care. Like, okay, cool. Is it news because Big Mama, no kids, whole time she was Big Mama baking a kid in the background, but she was Big Mama, no kids, waiting for the right man at the right time. Huh? And so that's why it's more of a shock. It's just that all of her music has always been about being, not necessarily being single, because I mean, she will always my man, and to my man, thank you to my man. Okay, that still hit to this day. But she's always been a my man type of girl, but she's always been very much like, I am not putting a baby in my body for just nobody. This, like, the person got to treat me right. Like, I'm not doing this, but she's always been doing it for the girls. And so I really hate the take of everyone, like, people who are parents came out and were just like, see, we knew it. Every time people are sitting there talking down on people with kids, saying they don't want kids, they will never, ever. It's because they've never had a kid and they never had the opportunity. Now look at them. You have a kid. And I'm just like, or can we enjoy the simple fact that people without kids, like, we get to enjoy our lives too? We get to talk about it. We get to brag about it. Y'all sit there and you brag about your kids 24/7. You're posting your kids 24/7. Us without kids who are like literally just, some of us don't care for kids. And some of us are like, I don't want kids right now. We should be able to brag about that because it's funny. The jokes are funny. Oh, I don't have kids, because everyone knows if you don't have kids, you get to keep more of your income. You get to like spend it more on yourself. You get to be just unapologetically selfish. And so that includes bragging about the fact that like Big Mama, no kids. Like, yes, it's fun. It's funny. But like, you know what it's giving? When people hop online, specifically parents, and it tends to be, I'm on the side of the internet with women. You know, if I'm going to argue with anyone, I'm going to argue with a woman. A man, no, I am, a man does not deserve my response. I am not going to sit here and talk to a man. That's disgusting. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to talk to my girls, my gays, and my days. And so it tends to be women under these posts of other women being like, no kids. Like, some girl posted, this is what 27 and no kids looks like, right? And she's just like, it was a cute birthday post. Like, she was just being cute, silly, putting a baddie caption, looking great. You know how many people hopped in her comments being like, 3 kids at 27, 4 kids at 27. This is what 26 with 2 kids looks like. Still good. No Botox, no filler, no nothing. All natural. Going hard. And you know what it's giving? It's giving, I regret my decision to have kids. And so now I'm going to get mad at everyone who points out the fact that they don't have kids because I wish that was me. That's what that energy gives to me. Like, when you sit there and you have to sit there and defend people being like, oh, I don't have kids. And it's giving, you regret your kids. And so that's why I'm like, time and place. She says she don't have kids. Okay, happy birthday, and move on. You know? And so it's like, so when people just sit here and they want to ha Lotto, you know, you're sitting there saying Big Mama, no kids. Oh, you're waiting for the right man at the English. Do we know her? Is English in the room with us right now? Anyways, or like, she, you know, she had that line where she was like, I'll spend a 500 before I ever trap you. Like, they thought I was gonna fall off. I hate to give them bad news, right? She's always made her songs of like, I'll fetus deletus, I'm not getting pregnant, that ain't me, blah blah blah. But that was her energy at the time. Like, that was really her. And now the girl is in her she calls herself Big Mama, for goodness sake. Big mama, no kids. The girl wanted to be a mama. Jesus, move on. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. People still coming out being like, that's 21 Savage's yes, we know. We all know she's dating 21 Savage. Okay, surprise, surprise. Like, okay, let's move on. And then trying to be like, oh my God, but that's a married man. Like, you know what? I don't care. I truly don't care. I am no longer in the business of telling women who to date, because I couldn't care less. Because you know what happens every single time that you go, you shouldn't be dating that person. Like, that's such a bad person. Blah, 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 blah. You know what they sit there? I know, I know, I know. I already know. And then later on, they're pissed because they're like, oh my God, I already know this, but like, it's not your business. My marriage is not like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, for example. People told that to Jen because Zach was like literally a boo boo foo foo horrible man. I mean, damn near every single man, all of their husbands suck. Jesus, all of their husbands suck. And except, you know what? We're going to give Connor a pass. It looks like he's learned from his mistakes, because let's not forget, season 1 also started off with Connor was cheating on Whitney. Connor was cheating on Whitney because homie had a Tinder account swiping on girls and flirting with girls. And then there was this whole thing of like, I have an addiction to porn, which, God forbid, I don't believe in actual porn addictions. I just believe that there's super, really, really conservative people out here who sit there and they think any type of lustful act is, not good. And so they sit there and they say things like, you have a porn addiction because someone's interested in that type of content. But that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. That's just how I feel. To each their own. That's just the way my cookie crumbles. And that I'm gonna leave it at that. And so I was kind of like, cringe. When, they're like, and I have a point. Shut up, Connor. But, cheating on your wife, being on Tinder, swiping on people, trying to flirt, that is disgusting. That is horrible. Seems like homie has learned his lesson. I think he really realized, like, I really don't want to lose this woman. And he's been able to turn his marriage around. That is just what we've seen from the show. But we also know, especially from the Marciano season, sometimes when people are doing a lot of things behind closed doors that they just don't want on the show, so they don't talk about it. Like finding out that Jordan knew about Marciano this entire time, and Jesse calls him on her way home and is like, so the scandal has come out. And you know what? Let's talk about it. Horrible marriage, Jordan, Mr. Jesse, okay? Mr. Jesse, horrible man, right? Horrible person, horrible man, small energy. This man is so boo-hooing because his wife makes more money, so it makes him feel like less of a man. He's already a short man because short man syndrome is such a real thing. I don't understand why all the short men feel like they have to do all these other things to make themselves feel bigger or whatever. You're not and so and so I think yeah, I think he's just a horrible person who could not stand a woman doing better than him, because he's been taught, like, you as a white man, you're going to do great things in life and you're going to do amazing and you're going to be the provider, the protector, and like your wife is going to sit there and bow at your feet every morning and cook and clean for you. And then suddenly he marries a woman who runs her own business, is the breadwinner. Everyone talks about how rich Jesse is. Everyone talks about, like, they can't believe how much money Jesse makes. And then suddenly, because Jessie isn't happy in her marriage, she steps out of it a bit, does a little bit of scandalous cheating. And then she comes back and she's like, I feel so guilty. I'm going to tell Jordan everything. And then he decided he's going to stay in the marriage and everything's fine. And then when it was revealed by Marciano and the other girls, hey, girly pop, we know you cheated. She doesn't lie, nothing. She just goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, freaks out, panics, calls her husband, and that's when he loses his mind, because now he feels like he's about to be embarrassed in front of the world, and he feels like he's going to be embarrassed because, I promise you, he feels like cheating is a man's thing. And so now he's mad. His woman already makes more money than him. His woman doesn't need him. His woman can do whatever she wants. His woman can get whatever man she wants. And then suddenly she is a woman in a male dominated field, and suddenly she expanded her career. She was a woman in another male-dominated field by cheating. And so now he's pissed because he's like, she's literally doing everything a man should be doing. And now it's being told to the world. So now more people are going to make fun of me because obviously Mr. Jesse only runs in circles of people with toxic masculinity. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know these people. I just watched the TV show. Okay, so that's personally what I think. And then the whole prenup thing of like this season ends with Jesse being like, "Oh my god, our prenup wasn't finalized. I think the entire prenup could be voided and he could take 50% of everything I own." And everyone again throughout the season has talked about how rich Jesse is, to the point where as the marriage was falling apart, Jesse even said, "I think Jordan's only here for the money because he knows it's a lifestyle change." And not just that, but he started making whole dad talk and trying to brand dad talk. So dad talk can get brand deals and all this and that and yada, yada, yada. And they literally said, like, we think that's him trying to get his own career so that he can start making an income so that he can live just as large. Like, that is such a little insecure man, and like emphasis on little. And so I'm just like, it's like he is so crappy. And so then with the whole Dakota thing and Taylor, we're going to bring it all back around full circle. I think Mr. Jesse and Dakota were sitting up there on their phones, looking at each, talking to each other, talking about some exactly. And if you don't know that meme reference, you don't need to be here. I'm kidding. You can stay. But they were sitting there on that phone talking about some exactly before going to the courthouse together so Dakota could file for a restraining order and full custody of their son, while Mr. Jesse was over there filing for divorce because he was like, oh, I could take 50%. I don't have to go broke. Oh my God, let me take my wife's money. And especially the fact that Jesse has literally kept saying like Jordan's a really hard person. He was an easy person to marry. He's going to be a really hard person to divorce because he's going to sit there and he's going to get petty and vengeful and want revenge and all this stuff. Like, yes, the man has felt so insecure because he can't believe he has a woman playing a man role and he's playing a woman's role. But it's like that's based off of society standards. If you would let it go and realize all of these standards are social constructs and literally be like, oh, these are the ideas that people have created to survive. They're not true. There's no like masculine instinct. There's no like, we don't have those. The only instincts we have is the fact that we don't have to think about breathing for our lungs to breathe. Like that to and for everyone who now just thought about it and suddenly you're sitting here trying to like regulate your breathing again manually. Let it go, babes. Your body's got it because that is our human instincts. There's no masculine instincts and feminine instincts. We know this. There's been studies about it. Like there is, oh my, you know, we're not going to get into it, but I have a liberal arts degree. I literally had to, I was studying anthropology, the study of people and humans and societies and cultures and all that. I took the basic class and the advanced class because I loved it so much. It was so interesting, but like it really opens your eyes to show you that everything that we tell ourselves is very new. The whole masculine, feminine roles, that is a very, very, very new construct that it's not something that's been around. And not just that, but there are other societies, other cultures that prove that is not the way things work. It is just the way we have just decided things to be. And so it is what it is. So yeah, and then a majority of the men boo-hooing this season on season 4 about like, oh my God, I'm a stay-at-home parent taking care of the kids. I have no value in my life. I have no definition. What am I going to do? We have to do something to find our career and find our meaning. Thank God Connor, our close-up magic king. Okay, we're going to call him a king for right now because really, I feel like he's turned his life around. I think he's being better to his wife. He's done nothing but support Whitney and all her dreams, all her ambitions, and he is okay with being a stay-at-home parent, and he knows it's on his journey to figure out how to make, how to make a life for himself, how to find meaning for himself, and he's doing it in magic. And like, please, ABC, if you're going to cancel The Bachelorette, fill the slot with Connor just performing close-up magic. I would watch it. Personally, I would watch it. I would be interested. And so shout out to Connor for literally looking at Zach and being like, well, this is how our women felt before they got all these opportunities. All of those women talked about how they were nothing but stay-at-home moms. Like their husbands were the ones going to work. Their husbands were the breadwinners. And they just stayed home, took care of all their babies. And so they lost meaning in their life. They didn't know what to do. They were just sitting there basically following their husband around, following their husband as he makes his career, as he moves up, as he does great things. And so they saw this chance to be able to hop on TikTok together as a group and being able to find a little community where they can talk about that. They can talk about being homemakers. They can talk about being stay-at-home parents, and they can sit there and they can make their videos and their TikToks and like do funny things together. But that and them trying to look for meaning in their lives has been able to reverse roles for them. And now the husbands are boo-hooing about it. And it's like, oh my God, men discover what women have been talking about for decades. Like, oh my God. I hate that. That is something that I have been like, it pisses me off. And I don't care. I'm going to hold on to my rage. I'm not even going to try to fix it. Okay. Recently, I have been dealing with a lot, like this TV show proves it. And also in my personal life, I have been dealing with men who are discovering women's issues for the first time and then come to me and talk about it like it's a revelation. And I'm like, join the club. I've known this since I was born. Like, what are you? I don't care. Go talk about it with all your guys. Okay, go talk about it with your guys and talk about your revelation so they can all go and do their research. Oh my God. It's like, thank you so much for helping out the community. But they'll sit there and be like, oh, did you know that women are being oppressed? Oh my God. Did you know that women don't get paid as much? And then like women can't even get maternity leave. And then like, oh my God. And then when women like have hormonal issues, how like doctors don't want to fix it. And I'm sitting there like, I've lived it. Thank you. Like you are discovering this and I have lived it. So thank you very much. So so then to see it happen on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I'm like, oh my God, men really sit there and they're just like, oh, I can't believe. Maybe listen to women. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, I think Dakota and Taylor are both aggressive abusers to each other. And that video kind of shows it because like if we remember, and people had to keep bringing this up. So then I keep hating when people are like, Dakota is the victim. Taylor has already come out and stated that she's the abuser. So it's just very obvious. And like, y'all should be backing up Dakota and we're not going to do this. And I'm just like, skirt. Let's go back to the TV show because again, the TV show gives a lot of context to this. I've seen the video. I went on TMZ and I've seen the video. Someone pointed this out. I don't know if it's true or not, but someone pointed out the fact that because it has a TMZ watermark on it, TMZ does not put watermarks on videos unless they own it. So as long as they're able to own the rights, the copyrights to the video, they're going to put their watermark on it. So anytime it's reposted anywhere with anything, their watermark is on it so people know where the video came from. And so TMZ made a statement basically saying that they've obtained the footage and there's a copy of the same video in the footage of the case that got Taylor arrested. And so someone was saying that like TMZ chose their words specifically to play with people's ignorance and assumptions to make it seem like they, were able to access the case. And okay, moving on. Okay, you know what? Now I'm going to talk about it because I just had a weird reaction. Okay, that was my mouth. Okay, I know it sounded like I farted, but I didn't. And this is something that I'm actually really insecure about because I don't know what it is, but like when my mouth starts moving a million miles a second, I start getting air pockets in my cheeks because like yapping, a yappuccino, if you will. My friend yesterday, she was like, who ordered the yappuccino? And I'm sorry, I'm taking that word. I am taking it. Thank you, Josie. Taking that word. It's mine now. So like when I turn into a little yappuccino, air fills my cheeks and then I make some really weird noises that sound like fart noises, and it happens all the time in conversations and it pisses me off because then I'm like, I just move past it and I never address it because I'm like, if I address it then people are going to think I'm lying. But like, y'all, I am not farting up a storm as I'm talking. Anyways, moving on. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, so the person was saying that it made it seem like it made it seem like TMZ obtained the video from the case. But the reality is, if they were really obtaining the video footage from the case, it would take a really long time. They might not even get approved for it. Like, it's a whole bunch of things. But the reality is, if they had obtained it from the case, they wouldn't have a watermark on it. That watermark would not be on the video. So all TMZ did was state a bunch of facts to make you put the puzzle pieces together, which was TMZ has obtained a video And this is the same video where TMZ has obtained a copy of this video, and there is a copy of this video in the files. So that everyone was just like, not the Epstein files, y'all, the files that put Taylor in jail. And so everyone was like, oh my God, in the case files. And everyone was like, oh my God, TMZ got it from the court case. No, they didn't. It's a watermark. They own the rights. How do they own the rights? Someone has to sell it to them. Meaning, who had a video? Dakota. And so I also heard rumors that it was actually Dakota's friend who had sold the video or had outed the video, outed the story. But like the timeline was just very interesting. And from season 1, episode 1, we find out that Dakota has an issue with drugs. He is an addict. And he claims he got sober. He's trying to make life better with Taylor. He's like, when Dakota first got on the show, Dakota was a bum. A bum biddity bum bum. He was a bum biddity bum, okay? And then him and Taylor get together for some reason. And she was like, I am so in love with this man. But it was like very obvious that like Taylor was kind of taking this little broken bird under her wing. And so this was a hobosexual man. I don't know if you've heard that word on social media, but someone basically said, like, there is this thing where men who aren't doing great in life find very successful women and they try to find their way into their house and home and live with them. And so she started calling them hobosexuals because they're not attracted to you. They're attracted to the life that you could give them. As someone who has dealt with a hobosexual, let me tell you something. You really don't, if you don't know what signs to look for, damn, it's easy to fall into that trap. Like, you really will have a man who's sitting there treating you like the world, and suddenly he's living with you. And then suddenly, girl, we're not going to go down that route. We're not going to go down that route. But you blink your eyes and suddenly you're like, oh my God, since I've known this man, he has done nothing but lived with me. And I don't even think he likes me. And I think that's what happened with Taylor and Dakota, because they were already having issues really, really, really early on in their relationship. And that's when that video happened. Before Dakota was Taylor's baby daddy, she threw a stool at him. But the video that TMZ released was very specific. It's already Taylor's beating on Dakota. It's obvious that Taylor's a bit drunk. She picks up metal bar stools. She throws it at him. But before she throws it at him, Dakota walks to the side of the couch where Taylor's daughter is sleeping, her 5-year-old daughter. And I'm sorry, I really think Dakota put himself there because he wanted a shield. He wanted a shield, and he was like, well, Taylor's not going to hurt her daughter, so I'm going to stand over here. So to me, personally, I'm like, that was very manipulative, because he's like, your daughter's here. Look at what you're doing in front of your daughter. And it's like, if you cared that much about the daughter, you would not be sitting here going, your daughter's here, Taylor. Look, your daughter's here. You would be like, Taylor, let's take this outside. Like, you would not escalate it. You would not be doing nothing. Like, in fact, you might even, like, you've pushed and shoved her off of you this entire time. You would have grabbed her by the hand and taken her outside. You would not be sitting there worried about getting this all on recording. Like, it's just very manipulative. And then she throws a chair. One of the chairs hits her daughter, and the phone goes down. You can hear Dakota in the background saying, like, you just hate your daughter. You should care about your daughter. And Taylor's like screaming, get away from her, get away from her, get away from her. I don't want you touching her. And so it seems like this fight is getting so aggressive that no one's giving attention to the daughter. I can't see. I'm just going off of the audio. But to me, the audio sounds like the fight got so aggressive and they're too busy sitting there fighting that the daughter doesn't get full attention, right? Full attention and help to make sure she's okay after being hit in the head with a stool meant for Dakota. And so again, if Dakota cared so much about the daughter, why the hell was he standing over there? Someone was like, he was standing over there to stop the chairs from hitting the daughter. No, he wasn't. It's very clear in the video that he walks over there. She starts throwing chairs, and then he stands behind the daughter hoping like, your daughter's here, so you should stop throwing chairs at me. If he really cared about the little girl to make sure the little girl wasn't going to get hurt, the second the cheers started flying to him, he would have moved his position again. Anyways, back to what I was stating. Um, so then everything goes back to like Taylor's an abuser, Taylor domestic violence, Taylor has put her child in danger, which I agree are all true things. Taylor herself has come out and has admitted, like, yeah, she too plays a role in this. She too is an abuser. She sees it's a cycle. She needs to get out. Like, Taylor does not, she doesn't necessarily care to hide her faults. And I'm not saying that makes her a good person. At the end of the day, yeah, girly pop. I think it was a therapist, but I don't know if it was a video on Threads that came from TikTok. So, anyone can make up anything. But basically this domestic violence social worker slash therapist had came online to say any type of abuse that leads to violence is not okay. That person's also not okay. So as much as we can sit here and say like Dakota was the aggressor, Taylor was the aggressor, there should be nothing that equates to violence. So that means both of them are the issue, because like mentally you should not be like even react. Because the other thing that was going around was people saying like reactive abuse or something like that, where basically you have just poked the bear so much towards your victim that your victim lashes out and also gets violent. And she was like, that's also a problem. Like, we don't want to get there. And so you're always looking for people for help. Back to what the case stated. The case started off with the fact that the neighbors called the cops because Taylor was banging, because they could hear all the commotion of Taylor banging the garage door because Dakota had locked her in the garage and was beating her with a wooden object. That's what the case states. So it starts off with Dakota abusing Taylor, them going inside, and Taylor basically getting her lick back. That's what happened. They're both horrible. And so that's why I'm like, thank God they're both under one day I'm going to learn English and it's going to be revolutionary. Um, you wouldn't even know that I have a bachelor's degree in philosophy. Okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. But my point being, they both do need psych evaluations because they're both crazy. Okay. They're both crazy and dangerous, and they're very dangerous to each other. Again, don't know how true this is. Apparently, someone said a former boss reached. Okay, I don't think the former boss speaking out about Dakota being like very reactive and this and that was like actual true. I think someone just made that up to get clicks. I don't think it was true. Apparently, there are exes of Dakota that came out and said he has done the same thing to me. He's a very abusive man. And so I don't know how true that is. None of those sources have been verified, but I do believe that they are playing into each other. Y'all remember with Krishan and Blueface? Y'all remember when like we've all known Blueface as a very, very toxic man. Then he started dating Krishan, and then Krishan started like losing her mind, beating him. He's beating her. They're beating each other. That's how I think this is. That's exactly what I think this is. And so I don't think there needs to be one side over the other with I almost said Blueshawn, with Krishan and Blueface. We knew that they were both the issues and they were both horrible people. I do understand though. I was going to say, I don't understand why it's so hard to figure out why it's the same situation for Dakota and Taylor, but I do know why, because there is one specific difference between Blueface and Krishan and Dakota and Taylor, but we're not going to say the quiet part out loud. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so I think they're both horrible people. So with that being said, I'm sorry, that's Luna and her food bowl. And so with all that being said, we knew what type of person Taylor was. I was just here to watch the ghetto. I'm sorry. I do enjoy the ghetto and the drama, but also I'm not going to be losing my mind if they take her off of Secret Lives. I'm really not. The other girls are stars in and of themselves. Like, they really are. And so if Taylor's no longer on that show and they force her to prioritize her mental health, I'm going to still watch the show because the other girls have just as much drama too. I mean, I would love if Jesse and Mr. Jesse are like the main topic of next season so we can sit there and we can watch their mess of this divorce, because I know Mr. Jesse is about to be an issue. Like, I just know it. Ooh, I know it in my soul. Like, I would love to watch that mess unfold. Michaela and Jace, how is that going? Because last we heard, Michaela apparently moved to California to get treatments for her skin condition, We don't know if Jace went out there because, again, the last season ended with them saying that they're going to be living separate lives so Michaela can focus on herself. The other thing is Layla is struggling with an eating disorder. And I am so freaking happy that Layla came out and spoke about it. Luna, if you mess up my recording equipment, it's going to be me and you, girl. Yeah. Yeah. Play with your mama. Don't play with... Oh, I guess technically I am your mama right now. Luna, move. Anyways. And so all this... Thank you. So all this to be said... All this to be said, I am so happy Layla came out and spoke about it. Layla said she's also receiving treatment for her eating disorder. But for those of you who don't know, who didn't watch the season 4, by the way, season 5 has been put on a hiatus. Like, they are not recording anymore. They put filming on a pause. They don't know if filming's going to restart. We don't know if the show is actually coming back, which again, I hope it does, but this time without Taylor and Dakota. Because again, the season also ended with Dakota finding out, first of all, because Dakota, none of the girls wanted to tell Taylor because they didn't want her to lose her mind before going to the Bachelorette. Everyone keeps saying that Dakota purposely chose a girl to date and to interact with and casually date within Taylor's circle of friends because he knew it would make Taylor lose her mind. And poor girl who has known everything that Dakota ever did, really thought that Dakota really cared about her. And no, Dakota was playing you like a fiddle, girl, just to prove to Taylor, like, I have you under my orbit because I can make you react. Like, everything that Dakota does is to get a reaction from Taylor. Like, this man keeps talking about how he's moved on. Taylor brings a guy after Dakota has sat there and slept with damn near all of Utah. She brings a guy over. And boom, Dakota's suddenly losing his mind and he's not okay. And then he suddenly is like trying to make besties with the guy because he knew it would piss Taylor off, which it did. And then they started going back and forth. Like, it's a whole thing. They purposely get under each other's skin to prove to each other that I still have a hold on you. So then Dakota tells Taylor, when none of the girls would, that, like, I've been seeing your friend. And so Taylor loses her mind. She goes online. She talks about all these women online. Again, right before filming The Bachelorette, so they still had time to realize Taylor's problematic, but they didn't care because they thought it was fun. Anyways, they thought it would bring up viewership. So, again, I don't understand why they pulled the show suddenly, trying to make it seem like we didn't know. Yes, you did. Anyways, so suddenly, Dakota, is telling Taylor, tee-hee-hee, I slept with your friend. Been doing this. Woo. Sorry, Taylor, because I love you so much. So, like, I just had to tell you. Shut up, Dakota. And then the day before filming, he goes over there. He's like, I'm just dropping off Ever, our son. If that was the case, you would have dropped Ever. You would have left. But he didn't. He stayed there, talked about whatever they talked about, because cameras didn't go inside and follow him, as we know, because we haven't seen any footage of it. We just see the footage of him walking up to the door with their son Ever. And then he stays the night and sleeps with Taylor. And the smirk and grin on his face as he walked out the door, being like, yeah, got her. That is a man who knows his entire career is built around Taylor, and he's trying to stay in her orbit to keep getting his clout, his money, and access to all the women that he could ever want in his life. So then he sleeps with Taylor. This man is happy, skipping damn out the house because he knows, oh, this girl was about to go and look for her husband tomorrow, or waking up that day going, she's leaving to go look for her husband today, but got her, boys. And then even in his interviews, he is like smirking, happy, just like tee, like it's the cutest little thing. And then Taylor doesn't want to get out of the bed the next morning. There's a theory going around that people believe that Dakota said, if you go to the Bachelorette, I'm going to release the video. Because up until this point, we hadn't seen the video. We just knew what the abuse case was, but there was no video that was released. So people think that he held that video over her head being like, if you go, blackmailed her in some way and said, like, maybe it wasn't just that video, though. So I'm going to change this theory a little bit. So the main theory is people think he blackmailed her with that video and said, if you go on the Bachelorette, I'm going to release this video and I'm going to take Ever and I'm going to put a restraining order against you and all these things to basically ruin her life. I'm going to change it and say that might not be the only piece of evidence he has to ruin Taylor's life. And he was probably like, it might even be like nude photos and videos, and was like, I'm going to release all of this and then I'm going to file for custody of our son. Like, so because the following morning, Taylor's something like, I'm sick. I can't get out of bed. Like, I don't want to move. I don't want to go. Everyone, like, she is in such a piss poor mood. So for Dakota, who is skipping out of that house happy, and every other time that we've seen that Taylor and Dakota have slept together, they both have that smirk. They both have the smirk of, oh, we just did something bad, tee hee hee, but like, oh, we're not going to get into it, y'all. Don't worry, we're grown. It's our adults. It's our lives. This was the first time that Dakota was skipping out happy, and Taylor was damn near miserable. I'm sick. I don't want to get out of bed. Everyone go away. Oh my God, why are people bothering me? Well, she did not want to move. You couldn't pay that girl to move. Finally, after everyone is basically like, girl, fuck you, we're not doing this. Like, we've been doing this with you for so long, and everyone leaves her. Finally, she crawls out of bed and she's like, let me go film the TV show that I've already promised that I would film. Connie, stop. And so I think Connie's mad because Luna is hitting Connie with her tail. And I think Luna's mad because I didn't put food in her bowl right now. Oh yeah, that's why Connie's mad. Luna, you're hitting Connie with your tail. Connie. Sometimes these animals like truly fight like cat and dog, little siblings. But yeah, Luna's mad because I didn't put food in her bowl because I didn't want her munching in the back of this podcast episode. But if y'all don't mind the munching in the back of the podcast episode, let me know. Next time you'll hear munching in the back of the podcast episode, so we don't have an angry Luna who then made Connie angry. Anyways, so all this to say, that was the tea, that was the juice, that was the drama, that was the sauce. I need to go make breakfast. I need to go feed the animals. It's a whole lot of that needs to get done today. So I need to dance, jump on it. If you sexy and flaunt it. Oh, if you freak. Oh my gosh. And then my little timer just finished on Focus Buddy. John Green's new app. Yeah, I put on Focus Buddy so I can focus on recording this podcast episode without any interruptions, because that's what I literally needed. Whoa. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up now. My animals are hungry. My life. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about my life. But yeah. Anyways, all that to be said. Dakota is a horrible manipulator. Dakota and Mr. Jesse be sitting there talking about exactly because they're two horrible men hyping each other up. And what else has happened? Yeah, that's about it. That's all as far as we know. Oh my God, I didn't even get to Layla and her GLP-1s. Dude, Layla literally was weighing 99 pounds. She admitted it on the show. And Jessie was like, are you going to stop? And then she named the GLP-1 she was using. And Layla said no. She said absolutely not. And so then it made me realize, because if you've watched The Financial Diet, if anyone watches it, I recommend it all the time. I love it. It's really great for women and money and how to manage your money. I love it so much. That and The Money Show with Katie. Two great resources if you want to start your personal finance journey. But she made a video basically saying like everyone sees a skinny woman and claims that it's a GLP-1 when some of these women are already really small, and all they have to do is, work out, eat better, and there's different ways to lose weight other than a GLP-1. And sometimes she believes that's what these women are doing. And it was kind of funny because then in that video, she talked about herself as a skinny woman had 20 pounds of extra stubborn weight. So she hopped on a GLP-1 for a year to lose it so she could go back to her normal weight, which is a healthy way to use it. But the women that we're talking about in Hollywood are these super, super skinny women who are skinny to the point that it's scary. They are super skinny. And then Layla comes out, talks about her eating disorder, and is like, I am also on a GLP-1. And the thing with GLP-1s is no one talks about how addicting they are, because it's not like losing weight where you have to manage your diet, you have to go work out, where that becomes exhausting because it's a full lifestyle change and you have to commit really hard. And sometimes bodies plateau because, a person's body your body stays where it wants to stay. You can fight against your genetics all you want to, but you do hit some hardcore plateaus. If you're a person who's always big for their entire life, you lose a bunch of weight through dieting and exercise. Like, your body does not want to stay there, and it makes it easier to put the weight back on because our bodies have certain weights that they like to be at. But with GLP-1s, you get to bypass all the genetics, and you yourself as a person get to actually choose where your body stays and what weight your body maintains. And so she was like, it's so addicting because you get to change the way your body looks with just this medication, as long as you have access to it. And I'm going to be open and candid, as someone who tried to get access to it, that is expensive. So expensive. And I have health insurance, and they were still like, that's going to be $149 a month. A month? What? Crazy. Oh my God. It's so expensive. Like, you are looking at like $200 to $250 if you're not getting it through your primary care physician. And then even if you go to your PCP to get it, like, most insurances do not cover it because they're like, it's nothing but a weight loss drug. Like, why would we cover that? You little big back, go out there and work out. We're not spending our money for you to get that. Psh, why do you think you have health insurance? To help you pay for medications that you want and potentially need? Absolutely not. We're just here. Welcome to American healthcare. But yeah, and so I was very happy that she talked about it, because it was like, okay, she finally confirmed what everyone has been saying in Hollywood, which is all these celebrities are skinny beyond belief. Like, I'm talking like they probably weigh less than they did back in high school. They are probably at their middle school weight. Damn near, some of them are trying to get down to their newborn weight. Okay. Like, they are so skinny, itty bitty. And I mean, the two stars at the forefront of that was Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, mainly Ariana Grande, because, she's been such a big star who's been, a mainstream star in the public eye for so long that we have all, like, a lot of people have witnessed her weight and how she's always been a certain size, whether that's gone up and down, but like, she was always a certain size. She always looked a certain way. And now she's way smaller than that. And now she doesn't look like that. And now she's really itty bitty. And then you look at all the cast and you realize all the women in the cast have actually dropped some pounds. All of them have. And I was like, maybe it's the training schedule. Maybe it's, the wicked training schedule and the rehearsal. If they all did it together, if they all lost weight together, because that can tend to happen. You like, when you're doing things like musicals, Broadways, all that, it's a lot of training. It's a lot of exercising. And so I was like, oh, maybe it's just that. But they've all kept the weight off since leaving the show. I think people said Cynthia Erivo has finally been able to put on a couple pounds, but for the most part, all those women are still the same size. And I was like, ooh, not training schedule. Might be a little bit of Zempi. I think they're doing the Zempi over there. And so for Layla to come out and be like, to prove that she herself is a very skinny woman and she has been on Zempi, and after taking her little Zempi, she got down to 99 pounds and she's 5'10". Like, huh? And so now she's finally like, she has stopped her GLP-1. She's getting help. She's seeking help for her eating disorder. But I know it's going to be a long fight for her, because if you've gone all your life thinking a certain thing about your body, like, that doesn't change overnight. So I wish her nothing but the best, because it is scary. And especially as someone in the public eye, like, I have already said, seeing the heroin chic, actually, we'll leave that for next podcast episode. We can talk about the weight of celebrities in the next podcast episode, unless more drama comes up and unless I don't film it. Because let's be honest, we're not a very consistent podcaster. I'm checking out of this podcast. My throat has gone dry. I need to go sip some water. I need to go feed the animals. I'm done. Peace and blessings, y'all. This was amazing. I need a good sign off. I need a really good sign off. Subscribe to the podcast, rate and review, give us a 5 stars. I'm saying us, it's me and all my inner demons. That's the us in question. My energy is going down. It's yelling to burn. Give me 5 stars, leave a review, rate and review, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, girl, and spread the word. Spread the word about how we're distracted out here. All right, peace. I don't know. We'll find a better outro.